In this video, we'll be discussing one of the most common and paralyzing fears people experience, the fear of rejection. Whether it's the fear of not getting the job, being turned down in a relationship, or having your ideas shot down in a group setting, rejection is something that almost everyone has faced at one point or another. But the good news is, you don't have to let this fear control your life. In fact, with the right strategies, you can overcome it quickly and start seeing rejection not as something negative, but as an opportunity for growth. By the end of this video, you'll have actionable steps that you can take immediately to break free from the grip of rejection anxiety. We'll explore the psychological reasons behind this fear, how to reframe rejection, and how to build the resilience needed to push through any setbacks. If you've watched our previous video on developing a growth mindset, you'll find this one especially helpful because overcoming the fear of rejection is a key part of having a positive and resilient mindset. So, let's get started. Understanding the fear of rejection. The fear of rejection is deeply ingrained in human psychology. At its core, rejection is perceived as a threat to our self-worth and our sense of belonging. From an evolutionary standpoint, rejection used to mean exclusion from the group, which in prehistoric times could have been a matter of survival. The emotional pain we feel when faced with rejection is a natural response, but in today's world, that fear can be limiting and debilitating. This fear can show up in many areas of life, especially in situations where our personal identity or self-esteem feels on the line. In professional settings, it might manifest when applying for a job, asking for a raise, or pitching a new idea. In personal relationships, it can appear when putting yourself out there in a new social setting or starting a romantic relationship. And in everyday life, it can even prevent you from speaking up in meetings, sharing your opinions, or asking for help. Understanding that this fear is a natural reaction can help you detach yourself from it. When you view rejection as a normal and temporary part of life, it becomes easier to approach it with confidence rather than anxiety. The power of reframing rejection. One of the most effective ways to overcome the fear of rejection quickly is through reframing. Reframing is the process of changing your perspective on a situation. Instead of seeing rejection as a failure, view it as a learning opportunity. Every rejection is a chance to gather valuable feedback, learn more about yourself, and grow. For instance, if you're rejected in a job interview, instead of viewing it as a personal failure, see it as an opportunity to improve. Perhaps you didn't have the right skills for the role, or maybe the company was simply looking for a different candidate. Whatever the reason, it doesn't reflect your worth as a person. In fact, every no brings you one step closer to the right yes. In personal situations, such as a romantic rejection, reframing can also work wonders. Instead of thinking, "I wasn't good enough," you can shift your mindset to, "This person wasn't the right fit for me, and I'm one step closer to finding someone who appreciates me for who I am." The key is to see rejection as a natural part of the journey towards something better, not as a reflection of your value. Building resilience to handle rejection. While reframing rejection is incredibly helpful, building resilience is key to ensuring that you bounce back faster and stronger every time. Resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks, adapt well to adversity, and keep going in the face of challenges. The more resilient you are, the less you'll be affected by rejection. Here are a few strategies for building resilience. Develop a growth mindset. People with a growth mindset believe that abilities and intelligence can be developed over time with effort and practice. This mindset is crucial when dealing with rejection because it helps you see setbacks as part of the learning process. If you haven't watched our video on developing a growth mindset, it's worth checking out to understand how this perspective can transform your response to rejection. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when you face rejection. Instead of criticizing yourself or wallowing in self-doubt, practice self-compassion by treating yourself the way you would treat a friend going through the same situation. Remind yourself that rejection happens to everyone and it doesn't diminish your worth. Develop emotional awareness. Recognize and label your emotions when you experience rejection. This helps you understand what you're feeling and why. Once you acknowledge your emotions, you can manage them more effectively and avoid being overwhelmed by them. Stay focused on your long-term goals. Rejection can be discouraging in the short term, but it's important to remember your long-term goals. Don't let temporary setbacks distract you from the bigger picture. Stay committed to your vision and trust that each step, whether a success or rejection, is part of your journey. Quiz time. What is one of the most effective ways to deal with rejection? A. Ignore your emotions. B. Reframe rejection as a learning opportunity. C. Avoid trying again. D. Blame yourself for the rejection. Drop your answer in the comments below, and don't forget that a random winner will be selected to win an Amazon voucher. Good luck! Taking action to overcome the fear of rejection. One of the most effective ways to overcome the fear of rejection quickly is by taking action. The more you expose yourself to rejection, the less power it will have over you. This might sound counterintuitive, but by intentionally putting yourself in situations where rejection is possible, you desensitize yourself to the emotional impact it causes. Start small by taking little risks. For example, you can ask a colleague for feedback, apply for a job you're not sure you'll get, or ask someone out on a date. The more you face rejection, the more you realize that it's not the end of the world. In fact, each rejection builds your confidence and strengthens your ability to cope with future setbacks. Additionally, taking action helps shift your focus away from the fear itself and towards the experience. Rejection becomes less about avoiding pain and more about learning and growth. When you embrace this approach, rejection becomes less scary and more empowering. Final thoughts. Overcoming the fear of rejection is not an overnight process, but with the right mindset and strategies, you can face rejection with confidence and resilience. By reframing rejection, building emotional resilience, and taking action, you'll gradually diminish the fear that once held you back. Remember, rejection is a natural part of life, and it doesn't define you. Every rejection brings you one step closer to the right opportunities and experiences. One important thing to remember is that rejection is often not personal, and it's not a reflection of your worth or abilities. The reasons behind rejection can be completely external, such as timing, circumstances, or simply not being the right fit for a particular opportunity. When you internalize rejection as a personal failing, you give it more power than it deserves. By reminding yourself that rejection is just part of the process, you can avoid the trap of self-doubt and continue pushing forward with confidence. Keep in mind that the path to growth is filled with setbacks, but each step forward is a victory. Stay resilient, keep learning, and don't let rejection stop you from reaching your goals. You've got this. If you like our video, do like, comment, and share with your friends and family. And do not forget to hit the bell icon to stay tuned for more latest updates.